I think you, as my viewers, deserve this video. Now, before we get into kind of the dark, depressing stuff, I just want to say something. If you haven't voted, go vote. I don't care if you're in a blue state. I don't care if there's no chance Trump or your local representative will win. Just go vote, please. Even if your state is California and you're living in San Francisco or something and there's no chance anyone's going to win, just go vote. Mr. Trump's going to need as much support as he can. And even if California is swayed a percentage point or two, that can make a big difference in the national public opinion poll. It could put him over the top. It could strengthen his position when he comes to governing. And vote Republican. Just vote Republican down the line. Look, a lot of Republicans suck, but they won't appeal. If they get into executive power, like as your governor, they will not appoint people nearly as bad as the Democrats. There's lots of stuff they won't do. They won't take away your guns. They won't send you to camps for your religious liberty. They're legitimately, in most cases, pro-life. So just go do it. Trump needs all the support he can. This is do or die. This is the Game of Thrones. The Republicans may suck in a lot of ways, but they're what we got. We have to work with what God has given us, not what we might wish for. And the Republican Party and Donald J. Trump, whatever their failings are what we've been given. And we have to do what we can with it. We can't just sit on the sidelines and go, oh, democracy's degenerate. Oh, I'm not going to vote because of whatever reason. You guys got to go and do that. So now that that's over, so what if Hillary wins the election? What do we do then? Do we say, oh, we're soldiers for summer? This whole all right thing, this whole attempt to develop a sense of pride in ourselves as a people, this attempt to push back against the forces of darkness. Do we just give up and go back to being normies and go, oh, I guess the election's over. It's not going to be so bad under Hillary. Do we do that? Or is this just the beginning? Let me see. Or do we say what Captain John Paul Jones said, I have not yet begun to fight? Because I think that is what we say at this point. If this reminds me very strongly of what the former president of the EU, Jean-Paul Juncker, said on the eve of the referendum on the European Constitution when it looked like it was going to lose in France. He said, if it is yes, we will say, let's proceed. And if it is no, we will say, let's continue. But I think that's important for a lot of different reasons. On the one hand, it's true. If Hillary wins tomorrow, we will have our period of mourning, and then we will continue to fight. If Trump wins tomorrow, we'll have our period of celebrating, and then we will proceed. It doesn't matter who wins. Our course forward is clear. We are in a death struggle, ladies and gentlemen. This is the end of the line. There's nowhere left we can retreat to. This isn't giving up some far-off colonies. The fight has been brought home. Our people are in danger of extinction, both cultural, racial extinction. Our nations are one by one being turned into something else. Our people being displaced, our cultures becoming alien. Like I said, this is the end of the line. Where else are we going to go to? If America falls, where are we going to flee to? Europe? Europe's overcrowded, and besides that, it's full of. If Hillary wins, then we've lost a chance to do something with Donald Trump, but there'll be other chances. There'll be other elections. And I think it'll be a wake-up call for a lot of people. I think a lot of white Americans who, broadly speaking, if you went really deep down, they share a lot of our ideals. I think they share a lot of our fears, but they feel, okay, we'll support Mr. Trump. He'll get in power. He'll fix this stuff. He'll be the answer. And regardless if he wins or not, Mr. Trump is not the answer. He could be an answer, or he could not be an answer. But he is not the only answer, and he will not end our problems. I do think it is important that he wins because he will deal with illegal immigration. He'll restrict the power of the international companies, and he will declaw a lot of our enemies as best as one man can. It'll buy us time. It'll buy us some breathing room. We are growing. As as the left has destroyed safe space after safe space, as they've left no place in society really for people like us, young, middle class white males. There's no place for us in society. We can't go to universities. Um, we get accused of rape if you try to pick up girls. The job space is completely hostile to us. The public service is completely hostile to us. We live in kind of an effeminate society that despises us, from the way that public schools are set up to the way that government is run at the highest levels. It's just not friendly to us anymore. And you may say, well, there's a lot of people, white males, still there. Yeah, but they've been deballed. They're geldings. They're not helpful. They don't embody any of the things we want them to embody. But if they take away Trump, if they rig this election as it looks like they might, then I think we just have to accept there is no safe spaces. We aren't going to be able to resolve this through normal means. And I would have preferred to resolve things peacefully, to be honest. I would have preferred if they would have let us vote in something like someone like Viktor Orban, who's going to run the country in a sane, non-thuggish way, is going to keep Hungary for the Hungarians, or in this case, I guess America for the Americans, and is going to do it within the rule of law and in just in general a non-crazy way. I would have preferred that. But what they're doing is they're saying even fairly reasonable, fairly moderate nationalists like Mr. Trump or Marine Le Pen or even Nigel Farage, they're so outside of the pale. We can't give you the smallest of small concessions. And if you try to get any concessions whatsoever, we're going to block you. We're gonna take away your toy. We're gonna take away your candy. We're gonna take everything from you, and we're gonna back you up into a wall. And we're just gonna close the noose tighter and tighter. Like I said, ladies and gentlemen, this is do or die at this point. This is the Game of Thrones. You either win or you die. And regardless of who wins tomorrow, we have to keep fighting. We can grieve. You grieve when a parent dies, but you continue with your life. The point is, we can't let Hillary win. We can't let the globalists win. We can't let the people who want to destroy not only us, but everything that's unique and good in the world. These people are evil. They're frankly the agents of the devil. If you look at the kind of things they do to the unborn, the kind of things they do to each other, the way their personal degeneracy, the way they steal people's money and betray people's trust. These people are sociopaths. They're evil. Hillary Clinton and her ilk funded ISIS, the most evil organization in human history. They put stuff like telling 6-year-old kids that they need to get a gender transplant. In Europe, they're trying to extend euthanasia to minors. That's great. I mean, they're banning the words mother and father. These people are undermining all the things that have created the beautiful functional societies that we live in. By any metric, be it secular or religious, they are an objective evil. We may not always be the objective good, but we can still give meaning to our fight in saying that we unambiguously oppose something that is evil, oppose something that is wrong. So if we lose tomorrow, it doesn't matter. We have to keep going. If we win tomorrow, it doesn't matter. We have to keep going. There's going to be some really hard days ahead. We're going to have a lot of work to do. This is the opening salvo. This is not the conclusion. Sometimes in life you lose the first round. Sometimes in war you win the first round, but you come back and you win the second round. I think our enemies are a lot weaker than we give them credit for. I think they're getting desperate. I think the more effeminate, the more kind of diversity infects them, the more they just lower their standards, the weaker they are. And they have to make up with that weakness by being more arbitrary, more cruel, and more brutal. But ultimately, I think it's collapsing. Their reign is expanding as it collapses. And I don't think they have long, because all things end, especially when you have a decadent, effeminate, and corrupt gang that's running your society. These people will have their comeuppance now. And while it may not seem that way, I think for those of us who are religious, you have to realize something, that often there's very little justice on this world. Often bad triumphs over good. Oftentimes we hope, we pray that something good will happen. We will hope that because our cause is just, we will defeat the wicked. But it doesn't always work that way. God didn't promise us a happy and just life. He promised us a perfect eternity. He promised that on the last day all debts would be repaid. All white debts and all black debts would be repaid. Every good and bad deed would be rewarded and punished. And that all the injustices from life would be righted. If I didn't believe in this, if I didn't believe in the last judgment, I would go insane. Because the world is just so full of evil and so full of good people who fail in their quest to stop the evil. So regardless of what happens, we have to press on. Personally, I think something that's always struck me as relevant to the situation is the phrase "all men must die," because ultimately, it's true. We're all going to die someday. I'm going to die, you're going to die, everybody's going to die. But then the second half of that, beyond the nihilism, is all men must serve. And it's true, we all have to serve God. We all have to serve Christ in our own ways. That is what gives us purpose in life. That is what gives us the salvation from death. And I think because God gave us all life, we all owe God a life. We all owe Him to live for Him and to die for Him in whatever way we can. I'm not saying everyone has to be a martyr or whatever, but ultimately God gave us life. Eventually our lives will end and our souls will go back to Him. And you have to be ready to give account for yourself and what you've done. Maybe people say that this is hyperbolic, this is histrionic, this is making me sound more righteous than I am. I don't know. It's not even really about my personal how I view myself. I'm just trying to say this to kind of motivate you guys to say this isn't the end of the line. We have to keep fighting. It doesn't matter if Hillary wins. It's going to be sad. It's going to suck. I'm going to be depressed. You're all going to be depressed. It's going to be like a family member fucking died. It's going to be horrible, and the scars are going to take a really long time to heal. But we're going to survive, and we're going to beat these assholes. We are going to destroy them. We are going to, if we can't do it electorally, we'll do it some other way. If they shut us out of the media, we'll build our own media. If they won't give us tenureship, we'll make our own universities. If they exclude us from businesses, we'll make our own businesses. I don't give a shit. We have to beat these guys. And whatever that takes, whatever we have to do to oppose evil, we're going to have to do it. So fuck it. If Hillary wins, then we're going to keep fighting. And if Trump wins, we're going to proceed. Trump is going to go back on a lot of what he said. We're going to have to hold his feet to the fire even if he wins. Trump is not the end. Trump is the beginning. We have not yet begun to fight. This is our opening salvo, ladies and gentlemen. This and all the good people across Europe, be they Hofer, be they Orban, be they Marine Le Pen, be they the Danish People's Party. You have all these people who are fighting for their freedom, who are fighting to save their people from destruction. And they've just begun to fight, and so have we. So go vote today. Celebrate or mourn depending on what the results are. But know that come Thursday morning, the battle begins anew. Because all of life is struggle. And, well, that's the nature of things. You can like it or dislike it. But as they say in Fallout, war never changes.